According to Harvard research, 85% of workplace failures aren't due to skills or intelligence, but to boundary violations. Yet most Americans have never defined their non-negotiable values. Throughout this video, we'll explore the revolutionary approach to boundaries that Brené Brown discovered through 200,000 pieces of data, and how Mel Robbins transformed her life with the 5-second rule for enforcing personal boundaries. By the end, you'll discover 3 essential boundary practices that most experts never mention, with the third being the most transformative. Raise your hand if you've ever said yes when you wanted to say no in the last 24 hours. I'm betting most of you just raised your hand, even if only mentally. This simple moment of misalignment between what we want and what we do is at the heart of what I call the modern boundaries epidemic in America. We're living in a culture that celebrates overwork, constant availability, and putting everyone else's needs before our own. Take Mel Robbins' story. Before becoming the powerhouse speaker and author we know today, Mel's lack of boundaries led to crippling anxiety that nearly destroyed her marriage. She describes waking up each morning with panic attacks, saying yes to demands at work that kept her from family dinners, and constantly feeling like she was drowning. Her transformation began when she realized that her inability to set clear boundaries wasn't a virtue. It was slowly killing her. Today I'll share 3 boundary secrets that transformed Mel's life and the lives of thousands of others. The first is something you can implement immediately, the second requires courage, and the third, which Brené Brown discovered through years of research, is counterintuitive but game-changing. What if the most loving thing you could do for others isn't saying yes but setting clear boundaries? Most of us learned boundaries backwards, and it's costing us our relationships, health, and authentic identity. Take a moment right now and ask yourself, what parts of me am I currently negotiating away? When we fail to establish clear boundaries, we're essentially putting pieces of ourselves on the bargaining table. Your time, your energy, your core values, these aren't negotiable items. They're the foundation of who you are. Brené Brown puts it perfectly: clear is kind, unclear is unkind. When you're vague about your boundaries to avoid disappointing someone, you're actually creating more pain in the long run. Mel Robbins takes this further, saying, when you honor your boundaries, you are actually showing love to others because you're modeling truth. This is where the limits framework comes in, a practical approach to establishing and maintaining boundaries. Let's start with the first 2 elements. L stands for listen to yourself. Your body is constantly sending you signals when your boundaries are being violated. That knot in your stomach during certain conversations? The tension headache after specific meetings? These aren't random, they're your internal alarm system. I stands for identify your values. You can't protect what you haven't defined. What matters most to you? Family time? Creative expression? Physical health? Spiritual practices? These become your non-negotiables. Consider Tim Cook, Apple CEO. When shareholders pressured him to abandon Apple's environmental commitments because they weren't profitable enough, Cook famously shot back. When we work on making our devices accessible by the blind, I don't consider the bloody ROI. He told investors who didn't care about anything beyond profit margins that they should sell their Apple stock. Now pause and think about a time when honoring your values felt terrifying but necessary. There's fascinating science behind why boundary violations feel so uncomfortable. Dr. Caroline Leaf's brain research shows that when our boundaries are crossed, our amygdala, the brain's alarm system, activates, triggering stress hormones that can become chronic if boundaries remain violated long-term. What is one thing you're currently doing that doesn't align with your core values? Hold on to that thought, because in the next chapter I'll show you why most boundary-setting attempts fail, and the counterintuitive approach that actually works. One of the most powerful boundary moments in recent history happened when Oprah Winfrey, at the height of her show's success, decided to end it. Despite enormous pressure and financial incentives to continue, she recognized that the show no longer aligned with her deeper purpose. I've always known when it's time to move on, she explained. This wasn't just a career decision. It was a boundary moment where she honored her inner wisdom over external expectations. Let's continue with our limits framework. M stands for make your boundaries clear. Vague boundaries invite violation. When communicating your boundaries, use simple, direct language without justification or apology. I don't take work calls after 6 p.m. is clearer and stronger than, I kind of need family time in the evenings, so if possible maybe don't call then. I stands for implement consistently. This is where Mel Robbins' 5-second rule becomes invaluable. Mel teaches, the moment you feel yourself hesitating when you need to enforce a boundary, that's when you use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Count backwards and then speak your truth before your brain talks you out of it. This technique bypasses your brain's fear response and helps you act before self-doubt creeps in. Most people make this critical mistake with boundaries that actually damages relationships instead of protecting them. They confuse boundaries with ultimatums. Brené Brown distinguishes them clearly. Boundaries are about what's okay and not okay for you, communicated with love. Ultimatums are attempts to control others through threats. Lady Gaga demonstrates this distinction beautifully. Despite enormous pressure in the entertainment industry, she established firm boundaries around her mental health. I had to stop, she shared about a particularly difficult time. I needed a moment to stabilize. She didn't make demands about how others should treat her. She simply defined what she needed and honored it, even when it meant disappointing others temporarily. Take a moment to visualize enforcing a boundary that you've been avoiding. See yourself remaining calm, speaking clearly, and maintaining your position with compassion. What's your 5-second script for the next time you need to protect your boundaries? The third element of the limits framework reveals why most boundary education gets it completely wrong. And it's exactly what Brené Brown discovered in her research on belonging. What if I told you that strong boundaries don't separate you from others? They actually create the possibility for deeper connection. This counterintuitive truth completes our limits framework. T stands for trust your instincts. Your body knows when something feels wrong long before your mind can rationalize it. That gut feeling when someone is pushing your boundaries isn't paranoia. It's wisdom. Learning to trust these signals is essential for maintaining healthy boundaries. Stands for stand your ground. When you establish new boundaries, expect pushback. People who benefited from your previous boundaryless behavior won't immediately celebrate your change. Standing firm during this uncomfortable period is critical. Brené Brown's revolutionary research revealed something surprising. Boundaries and belonging aren't opposites, they're partners. She explains, the mark of true belonging is the ability to say, yes, I am a part of something bigger, but I also will stand alone when I need to. You belong everywhere and nowhere, and that is liberation. This insight transforms how we think about boundaries. They're not walls that separate us. They're the contours that define us, making deep connection possible. The neuroscience backs this up. When we consistently enforce healthy boundaries, our relationships actually show increased levels of oxytocin, the trust hormone, over time. Clear boundaries create psychological safety, which is the foundation for authentic intimacy. Serena Williams demonstrates this beautifully. As one of the greatest athletes of all time, she faced constant demands for her time and energy. Yet she established firm boundaries around family time, media access, and her mental health. I've learned to say no, she explained. It's empowering. These boundaries didn't diminish her career. They sustained it, allowing her to perform at the highest level for decades. You might be thinking, this won't work in my situation because my family/boss/partner is different. Mel Robbins addresses this directly. People will test your boundaries. They'll guilt you, question you, and try to change your mind. Your job isn't to make them understand, it's to maintain your boundary regardless. When someone pushes back against your boundary, Mel suggests a simple approach. Repeat your boundary calmly, acknowledge their feelings without taking responsibility for them, and then change the subject or exit the conversation if necessary. What relationship would be transformed if you set and maintained healthier boundaries? The most powerful insight about boundaries is that they paradoxically create deeper intimacy rather than distance. When people know the real you, including your limits, values, and needs, genuine connection becomes possible. Without boundaries, relationships remain surface level because you're presenting a manufactured version of yourself, one that's constantly accommodating at your own expense. We've explored the 3 secrets to boundary revolution. 1. Recognizing your non-negotiable self through listening to your body and identifying your values. 2. Implementing boundaries through clear communication and consistent enforcement. And 3. Understanding that boundaries create the foundation for deeper connection, not isolation. Imagine for a moment what your life would look like 90 days from now if you implemented just one boundary practice we discussed today. See the difference in your energy levels, your relationships, the respect you command, and most importantly, your relationship with yourself. Brené Brown offers this ultimate wisdom about boundaries. Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you don't belong, because you will always find it. Our worth and our belonging are not negotiated with other people. We carry those inside of our hearts. And as Mel Robbins challenges us, you are one decision away from a completely different life. It's your job to protect your peace. Remember, your boundaries aren't walls, they're the gates that allow people to truly know you. Your values are non-negotiable, and that's not selfish. It's the most generous thing you can offer the world. When you honor your boundaries, you give others permission to honor theirs. You create a ripple effect of authenticity in a world desperate for it. If you found value in this exploration of boundaries, hit that like button and subscribe for more insights on personal development. In the comments below, share one non-negotiable value you're committing to honor starting today. Your declaration might be exactly what someone else needs to read. The boundaries revolution starts with a single courageous no that makes room for your most authentic yes. Hey, incredible growth seekers! Wow, what a journey! If this video resonated, subscribe now for more life-changing content. Join our community of self-improvers. Smash that like button to fuel more content on mindfulness, goal setting, and emotional intelligence. Share this video to create a ripple of positive change. Comment below about your growth journey. Your insights shape our content. Next week, boosting self-confidence and overcoming limiting beliefs. Don't miss it. Every interaction brings us closer to a world of empowered individuals. Let's make personal development global. Stay inspired, keep growing. Your best self awaits. Let's unlock it together.